you're really trying to be funny right now. Like, I'm already in a situation that I really can't get myself out of, and I'm pissed about that. But now you're just pissing me off even more because you're really trying to be funny, and you know I can't do nothing. Like, on top of that, I was definitely a fucking hothead. You coming to me on this type of timing ain't sitting right with me. So I feel myself getting heated. I feel my blood boiling. I'm ready to lash out. So he's just like, that's not your real hair. Does it look like it was my real hair? If it was my real hair, it wouldn't have fell out when I took out those bobby pins. It wouldn't be sitting there on the floor right now looking like a, you know, fucking hairball that a cat just spit out their goddamn mouth had it been my real hair.
Okay.
You're really trying to be funny. You playing with me. You playing with me. So I'm like, stop trying to be funny, because you know that's not my real hair, or it wouldn't be sitting there right now on the floor. It would still be on my head. Why are you being funny? He was like,
I'm not being funny. I thought that was really your real hair. It just took me by surprise.
I'm not trying to put no stereotypes on anybody. I'm not trying to, like, you know, like I said, I'm just not trying to stereotype anybody, or, you know, any race or gender or anything like that. But for one, you know, females, black females especially, like to wear their weaves. Whether they got hair or no hair, they like to wear their weaves. I'm one of them females who like to wear their weaves. And yes, it was probably mainly so because I had little hair. So what? After that happened, it pissed me off even more, because they were dead ass pretty much still laughing at me the whole time I was, you know, doing my check-in process. So after I finally got through the process of the metal detectors, we made it inside the actual justice center, where you were pretty much being held until it was time to either go to court or to your cell. So when I got in there, I was immediately directed to go and take my picture and my fingerprints. So I had to go get my fingerprints taken, my picture taken. I had to get a wristband with like my inmate ID number on it and my picture on it that, you know, I just took, and stuff like that. My name, date of birth, all of that shit. Like as if you were going to the doctors, basically. So after I did that, we immediately from there had to go to this area where there were like changing stalls. And these changing stalls did not have any curtains, no doors, no nothing. They were just wide open for anyone and everyone to see if they walked by. We had to go back through there. I was with this female officer, and she was actually sweet. She was actually one of the officers there that were actually really sweet. She was cool. She was asking me like, what are you here for? Like, what happened? And, you know, I explained to her what happened. She was like, girl, you're so young. You really shouldn't be doing anything like that. Like, you have your whole life ahead of you. You do not want to end up like most of these people here who just keeps coming back, doing the same things, never learning their lesson, you know, so on and so forth. Like, she was really preaching to me. And I was really, you know, taking it in. It made me really see the light at the end of the tunnel. And, like, it gave me hope. Because, I don't know, like, I guess once I got arrested, I just figured, like, yo, this is it. I'm about to be locked up for like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Like, that's really how I was thinking. Obviously, I knew that probably wouldn't be. Honestly, actually, I really don't know if that was going to be the case or not. We're going to get into that later. Anyway, so I really, like, respected and vibed with what she was telling me. And it actually made me tear up and cry a little bit when she was telling me this. I told her thank you, and I appreciated it. And again, she was the only, you know, officer there who was welcoming and, you know, warm and, you know, giving me like that motherly advice. So after that little chit chat or whatever, she had me stripped down to literally nothing. I was literally in nothing. I didn't have no socks on. I didn't have no drawers on. I didn't have no bra on, nothing. I was completely bare booty butt naked. After I got completely stripped down and dressed down, we had to do this procedure. Now, if you see movies, TV shows, music videos, you probably know someone. It might be a friend or a family. Maybe it might be you. And you've been arrested before and had to go to jail and had to get checked in. You know this procedure. So after I got completely stripped down, I had to turn around, bend over, grab my butt cheeks, spread them open, and cough. And that was because they had to make sure we wasn't carrying any type of contraband into the facility.
via our assholes.
It's the truth, because it does happen. And even with that procedure, like, people still be getting a contraband in, you know what I'm saying? I just wasn't one of those people. I had to do that procedure. That was the very first time I ever had to do anything like that, because obviously this was the first time I ever got arrested. So it was kind of traumatizing, very embarrassing, not my cup of tea. Did not like that at all, but it's what I had to do. So after that she gave me my jumpsuit, my jail suit. It was green. It was like a dark green, very heavy and baggy on me. Didn't fit me at all. They gave me socks. They gave me like these Crocs to wear, these orange Crocs. At this time, Crocs wasn't in style. Like, it might have been in other places, but here in Syracuse around this time, they weren't in style. So me looking at them things, I'm just and then it was big on my feet on top of it. So it's like nothing fit me. Then they had to give me drawers. I couldn't wear my own drawers. They had to give me drawers. And I was just so iffy. I'm like, can I free ball? Because I don't know who else, pussy, dick, butt, whatever, been inside of them drawers. I don't know how well y'all wash y'all drawers. I don't know if y'all, reuse drawers, even if they did get washed. I don't know that. So I was so iffy and hesitant and just not with it when it came down to that. Like, I just wasn't with it. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, but I had to put them on. Like, I had to put them on. So I put them on. So after that, she took me back out to the main area, which was what people call the circle. So it's I guess like a circle with nothing but like benches and chairs going around in a circle. They got a couple of TVs up, pretty much on the same station, like the news and something boring. So, and then they had this desk that was like it was leveled up. So it was leveled, and it was higher up than the circle, and where we got to get our pictures and our fingerprints taken, and all that stuff. It was a desk with like 4 officers up there. They had their little setup going on with the computers and the monitors and the phones, all that stuff. And then you had in the middle a little desk area where you can make your phone calls. Off to the other side, they had like these little rooms where I guess you would go for your visits. And then you had, a couple of bathrooms. You had this area where, actually, I'm gonna tell you about that area in a second because it's a part of this story time. And then you had this area right across, like 5-6 feet away from, I'm tripping, it was like 8-9 feet away from the desk where you can make your phone calls at. There were these holding tanks. It was like 5 or 6 holding tanks in a row going like this. And in each of these holding tanks, it was like 10 plus people in these holding tanks. In the first like 2 or 3 holding tanks, it was nothing but males. And then the last 2 to 3 were nothing but females in the holding tanks, right? I'm telling how long they were sitting up in these holding tanks. I get to make me another phone call. This is my second phone call that I make to my mom. So I call up my mom, and as I'm on the phone talking to my mom, and she's really just telling me like how the process goes. Like, you're probably in the circle right now. And as I look around, I am in the circle right now. So yeah, she's telling me about how like I'm in the circle right now, and how I probably won't be going to court today, but tomorrow, because it's already late. How I'm probably not even going to get dinner tonight because, again, it's already late, and they more than likely already had their dinner. So, and then she told me I was also probably going to be sitting in there for a very long time also, because they do like to take their time when it comes to shit like this. So as I'm on the phone talking to my mom, chopping it up, still sniffling and crying and stuff here and there, not too much, because like I said, right across from where I was sitting was these holding tanks, and there was hella people in these holding tanks straight across. So like while I'm in the process of talking to my mom on the phone, there was like a few dudes in these holding tanks who were like banging on them. The walls were like glass, so they were like banging on them. Like,
oh, yo, hey, can you make a phone call for me? Can you make a phone call for me?
And I'm just like, make a phone call for you? Bitch, I only get one phone call. You clearly see me on the phone. And I mean, they're just going, they're banging, they're yelling, they're screaming.
Yo, I know you hear me. I know you hear me. You can help a brother out. You can help.
You're not my brother.
You're not my brother. And if the roles were reversed, you wouldn't help me out. I'm not gonna help you out here. I don't even know you. I don't know what you're here for. You could be here for something that you know you actually deserve to be here for.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
You know I'm here because I deserve to be here, but I ain't gonna tell y'all that. While they were doing that, it was just making me more and more nervous, more and more hysterical. So I was crying more and more on the phone with my mom because my mom can actually hear them in the background banging on these glass doors and walls, telling me, yelling at me, make them a phone call and stuff. I think, one person called me a bitch because I was ignoring them. So it was just like,
Okay, now it's really fuck you.
so after I got off the phone with my mom and, Samantha was able to make her phone call, we were sent to go sit in the circle. Now, sitting in this circle, it was hella cold. It was cold in this area. Like, it was freezing. The benches were hard as shit. Like, if you ever seen, like, those metal seats, the seats that got, like, the little holes and stuff going throughout them, and they're, like, metal. Yeah, those were the type of seats we were sitting in. And they were so uncomfortable. And we were sitting in a circle for, like, 8 fucking hours. Like, I shit you not, we were sitting in a circle for like so fucking long, like I done laid across the seats and fell asleep with my arms tucked into my shirt and the whole nine. Like, we both did. We fell asleep on each other and everything, like trying to keep each other warm, giving each other body heat, especially her with her being pregnant and everything, because it was like so freaking cold, man. Like, it was so cold. And we were sitting in that circle for like a good 8 fucking hours. Like, when we originally got in there, it wasn't even all that late. Like, you know what I'm saying? But altogether, we were sitting in that circle for like a good 8 hours. I might be dragging, it might have been like 6 or 7, but definitely cutting it close to 8. During the time that we were, sitting in a circle, we were watching TV. Me and, her were trying to take our minds off of, the situation that we were currently in. So we got into talking about other things, like shit back in school and, things that we were going to do when we got out of the situation. We were probably even talking about how we were going to turn our lives around and never do no dumb shit like this again. Like, it was just so much. We were sitting there for a few hours. And then after, like, I want to say a few hours, a lady in like a white coat, like a white lab coat or like a white doctor's coat, came into the circle and was like, she called for me first, and she called for Samantha. But when I went with her, we had went to the area that I, was just telling you about, that I said I was gonna wait till now to tell you about. So yeah, the area we went to, it was like, again, it was kind of like the area you would go to when you're doing your visits, right? It was just slightly different. So she was sitting on the other side, and there was like a glass between us, and then I was, sitting across from her, across from the glass, on the other side of the glass. And she started asking me a series of like questions. So I came to the conclusion she was a nurse or like a doctor or something. She started asking me a series of physical health questions, height, weight, all of that kind of stuff. She started asking me a series of like mental health questions. And at and around this time, I was in mental health, like I was in therapy. So if you've seen my video before last, I did talk about how I was in therapy for years, on and off. So at around this time, I was in therapy. She was just asking me like a lot of mental health questions that I was, answering truthfully and honestly. That will be completely another story time if you guys want to hear it. That's just how that went. And then she had to give me a shot. Yes, she had to give me a shot. So I guess we're going into these places, like jails and stuff like that. You have to go through, this physical health and this mental health checkup, and then you have to get this shot. I literally forgot what the shot was called, but it was a shot we had to get. But I know we had to get it, like it was mandatory. Samantha, on the other end, did not have to get it because she was pregnant. So because she was pregnant, she did not have to get the shot, okay? I remember I said that. I did have to get the shot, or whatever the case may be. I went back into the circle. Samantha went and she had her turn. She came back and informed me like she did not have to get the shot because she was pregnant. And to me, that was completely and 100% understandable. Like, shit, if I was pregnant too, ain't nobody gonna just be poking me up. Like, I probably shouldn't have let their ass just poke me up anyways, but again, it was protocol and it was procedure, and it was just something that I guess I had to do. Looking back on it now, I probably didn't have to do it, but I did it anyways. So we were back sitting in the circle, and we were in the circle again, like I said, for like 6 to 8 hours pretty much, and it dragged. We fell asleep a few times before we were woken up and told that we had to go to inside one of the holding tanks with the other female inmates. So We got put inside one of the holding tanks. It was like 8, 9 other females in this holding tank, and one of them was like probably a retiring crackhead. Or just like a retiring drug addict. Probably not even retiring. She was probably just a drug addict. But she was doing a lot of pacing back and forth. She kept scratching and scratching. She kept yelling at the officers between the glass, like through the glass, to like let her get a phone call, because I guess she did not get a phone call the whole time that she was there. And you're actually supposed to get one phone call when you get there, like when you first get there. Then once you get like processed and all of that other stuff, and I guess that's what be taking so long too, because you got to go through this like whole process of being processed, and it just drags on forever. So she was just on her shit. She kept getting into it with the officers. Like, the officers would walk by and like be cussing at her and yelling at her, and she would just be cussing and yelling right back at them. Like, honestly, if that were me, I'd probably be doing the same shit.
But I ain't no drug addict now.
I just didn't have the energy, or was really even in the mood to be, you know, doing all of that bickering back and forth with them, because I just finished doing that shit. Like, I just finished doing all of that shit with the officer who just arrested me. I'm not about to keep doing that here, especially because it's just gonna be many more against me. So I'm gonna just shut up. But her on the other end, she was going in, drug addict.
Okay.
So as we're in the holding tanks, we were in the holding tanks for about 3 to 4 hours. Not too long as compared to as we were in the circle, but it was still bad, because inside the holding tanks, there was like one little toilet separated by like literally a small ass wall, that if you sat down on the toilet, you could still see a head over the wall. That's how short the wall was blocking off the toilet. And then it was still right next to the back door of the holding tank. So there was like a door that we first came in, and then there was a door to the back, that I guess where we had to exit from. And then along both sides of the wall, like, it was long. Like, the holding tank was long like this, but then it was like this, and then it was a long bench on this wall, then a long bench on this wall, and then there was like a small wall right here with the toilet on the other side, and then a couple feet away, the door, another door. So there was a few ladies sitting on this bench. We had a few more ladies, including myself and Samantha, sitting on this bench. You had the drug addict pacing back and forth, still cussing out the officers. I mean, I don't know, before you're just wasting your breath, it's not like you can do shit. And she was just pissing me off, because again, it's just not like you can do shit, so just shut up. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, we were sitting in the holding tanks for about, I want to say about 4 hours or so, before the officers came and started calling us out of our cells. And then we started getting all like ankle cuffed and handcuffed together to each other by chains and shit. And this time it was a mix of males and females. So it wasn't just all females walking, it was a whole line of both male and females. It would go like male, female, male, female, male, female, literally just like that. And we were all handcuffed and ankle cuffed together. And then we were led out of the like main area through like these tunnels. We were getting on elevators, you know, all of that stuff. And then we were being dropped off at our units, at our floors. When me and Samantha get to our floors, of course, we're on the same floor, we're in the same unit. We get there, and when we get there, there's a couple of, you know, female officers there. I see a few of the female inmates just walking around doing their own little thing, or whatever the case may be. We get there, and a couple of female officers come to us. They lead us to this area where they give us a mattress, a blanket, a bin, a toothbrush, comb, toothpaste, cup, you know, necessities, little essentials. And then they lead us to a cell. The cell was pretty big. It had 2 beds, a desk, a toilet, and then obviously the door that you can't open unless it gets open for you. Then we had a window, but you can't see through the window. It's like stained glass, so you can't see through it. It was already really late, so all me and Samantha really wanted to do was just go to sleep. We were so blessed, so happy that we were able to share a cell together. That like was literally all we could think about, honestly, you know, coming into the situation, was that we just don't get separated at any point, you know, being in a situation together.
I just wanted to insert in this part here that remember that I'm telling you guys that we promised that we were not going to get separated during this whole time that we were in the situation. Remember, I said that.
So we were so blessed and happy that we had a cell together, and it was already late, like I said, so all we wanted to do was just get our shit, situated, like making up our beds, folding out the mattress, and all of that stuff, and just going to sleep. And that's what we did. So the next morning comes, we wake up because an officer comes in, lets us know it's time to get up. They brought us breakfast. And so we got up, we made up our beds, and we just sat there staring at the wall, staring at the ceiling, staring at the floor, waiting for our breakfast to come. Once it gets there, they give us our little trays, and we're just sitting on our beds eating. I'm looking at the food though, and I'm like, they gave us like those little circular sausages, and this was back when I was eating pork. I currently don't eat pork, but yeah. So it was like those circular sausages, like this big or whatever. They had like milk, a carton of milk like you would get from school. I don't even remember. I think it was like some applesauce and something else. Probably a cake. I definitely think it was a cake on there too. So I go to eat my food and everything. Milk was warm as shit. So I didn't finish that because it was probably spoiled. But the milk was warm as shit. The sausage was cold as hell. The applesauce was watery. And the only thing that was good on that whole tray was the cake. Literally. But as I'm eating the actual sausage, ate the sausage, the shit was cold, and when I went to swallow, I felt something hella sharp in my throat. Like, I felt something hella sharp in my throat. Like, y'all, I thought I was about to die. I thought somebody, set me up. I thought somebody put something in my food, like a razor or something inside my sausage, just trying to, get me, take me out already. Like, that's how I was thinking, because whatever I swallowed, it was sharp.
Okay.
And I couldn't even finish eating after that. Not like I even really wanted to, but I couldn't even finish eating if I wanted to, because how bad my throat was hurting because of the sharp shit that just went down my throat. And every time I swallowed, it just kept feeling like I was swallowing something sharp. So I just felt like they was trying to take me out early on in the game, and I didn't even do shit.
Bitch, please.
That's all I'm gonna say. So I didn't finish my breakfast, didn't even drink my milk because again, it was warm as shit. What the fuck am I gonna do with that? And then we were told we had to put our trays in front of our doors, well, next to our doors, so that way when, the helpers come around to collect the trays and stuff, it'll be right there for them. So that's what we did. After that, we were in our rooms for a couple of hours before they let us out into the little main area of our unit, or the unit that we were on or in, whatever. And it was good vibes. There was a couple of girls out there we were sitting down and we were chopping it up with. I didn't want to talk to too many people. I just preferred it just to keep it with just me and Samantha, because I didn't plan on being there for too long, for one, and then for two, don't know what y'all ain't here for, want to know what y'all ain't here for, because I don't want to be friends. That's just what it was. I ain't no jailbird. So as we're sitting there, the officers come up to us and they're like, yeah, so you two are gonna be separated. I'm like, what?
The fuck you mean?
Cause like me and Samantha, we were just chilling, we were minding our business. We thought everything was going good. Then one of the officers comes up to us and she's like, yeah,
We're gonna separate your guys' room. Actually, Dariana, you're gonna be coming with us.
not only is we getting separated, but I don't even get to stay in the same room that I was just in.
Huh?
My biggest fear was having a cellmate besides Samantha. Like, if I was gonna be roomed up with somebody, it had to be Samantha, or else I want my own cell. Clearly we were in predicaments where we can be making choices and making decisions and telling people what we want done. That just wasn't the time. Yeah, we got separated. Samantha ended up going into a whole nother room as well, but she had a room by herself. Me, on the other hand, they took me out of the room that we were currently in and put me in another room that had 2 other people. Bro. And again, I have more story times to come in regards to these 2 cellmates alone. I have story time. So that's why I feel like I'm gonna make this just a series. Yeah, we were separated, and the reason we were separated is because, remember in the beginning I told you, Samantha could not get that shot. So because she could not get that shot since she was pregnant, she cannot be cellmates with anyone besides herself for the time that she was there. So that's why she got separated. And then I was still a little heartbroken because I had to be cellmates with 2 other people I didn't even know. It was a little frustrating, but we got through it. So anyways, we had to be, you know, in our cells. It came around the time where we were supposed to be in our cells. I don't want to get too much in detail on what went on throughout the day, because it wasn't that much. It really wasn't. I did have my phone call with my mom that day. She told me she was not giving me any commissary, which was ass, because I was stressing about that food. Like, if we had to keep eating this food every day, I really wasn't gonna make it.
No ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am.
I needed some commissary, and she refused to give me commissary. She did tell me that she would take my brand new sneakers. She just went and bought me back to the store to get some money so she could put money on the phone so I could keep, you know, calling her. But that's all she was gonna do. I mean, but that all was enough.
I did still though want some commissary.
So after that, we were in our cells. I guess Samantha was in her cell, I was in my cell, or whatever the case may be. Next thing I know, we're all in our cells, and then I hear like these chains rattling, and I didn't know why, but I soon found out, because we were being taken from our cells to be brought to court. And it was so funny how quick we got to court, because all we had to do was walk through the underground tunnels in that same type of line that we were originally in. We were walking through the tunnels for about 10 minutes, and then we got put inside these holding rooms. They weren't like the holding tanks in like the main area of the Justice Center, but they were a lot smaller and tighter, and only like a select few people could fit in there. So that's why I guess they only brought a select few people during this little round to court. Eventually, we got to the part where we were inside of the courtroom, because I guess the courthouse was underground. It's crazy. We got into the courtroom. We were all chained up still together. It was about 4 or 5 of us sitting in these chairs right across from us inside the courtroom off to the side. You had the judge sitting up there. One of the inmates were up in front of him already. And then you had, you know, the people in the courtroom just, you know, sitting around in the back area where, you know, the guests are supposed to be sitting at, if you want to call them that. And in the crowd, I see my mom. I see my dad. I don't know what the fuck he was doing there, but I seen my mom, I seen my dad, and then I seen my neighbor.
So I just wanted to mention here that I did tell my mom that I had court this day, because the officers informed us the day before that we were going to be going in front of the judge. So I was able to call her and tell her. I just forgot to add that part in the story.
I was with my mom. They were like friends at the time. Oh my God, I got another freaking story time. Just remember I said that. My neighbor was there with my mom, because my mom and the neighbor were like friends in a way. Remember I said that, because like I said, it just leads into a whole nother story time. Same thing with my dad. Anyways, eventually it was time for me to go up. When I got called up, I'm sorry y'all, I'm just reminiscing, and it just still hurts my heart just thinking about it, because I can feel now how scared, how nervous, how hurt, and just how devastated I was standing up there in front of that judge. So as I'm standing up in front of him, he's reading off my charges, you know, what happened and all of that stuff. I got assigned a lawyer. He told me that he didn't give me a chance to speak. I didn't have a chance to say anything besides, "Yes, Your Honor." Literally, that was about it. He told me like,
Okay, well, you're staying here until your next court date. You're not going home. You're being booked.
because in my head, because when I was talking to my mom on the phone, she made it seem like I would just be going straight on home. Like, that was it.
Got him! Got him!
But that wasn't the case. I was not going home. He was not letting me go home. He told me he was booking me until my next court date. And my next court date just so happened to not be until like about a good 2.5, 3 weeks later.
No ma'am.
So yes, I was going to be staying in jail for the next 2 to 3 weeks. I know y'all probably like, girl, please. It's people in jail for the rest of their life. You got people in jail who've been in there for like a fucking year, maybe longer. You know what I'm saying? I know. But to me, 2 to 3 weeks felt like 2 to 3 fucking years. Wasn't cool. It was not fucking cool. As soon as he told me that, I felt the tears in my eyes. I turned and looked back and seen my mom. She had tears in her eyes. She wasn't happy at all. especially not with the way I was looking. Like I said, I had to take out my fake bun, so my hair was all over the place. They didn't give me no good combs or brushes, so I couldn't comb or brush my hair out properly. Excuse me. So it was really hard on me. I was looking a fucking mess. I felt the fucking mess, and then him giving me this news just made me feel worse. He gave the same news to Samantha, and then, you know, after they finished up with the rest of the inmates, we were, you know, obviously all handcuffed and ankle cuffed back up together, and we were led back to our units, to our cells, and that was that. I was able to call my mom again later on that day. We talked about it. She told me that she was working on some things to try to get me bailed out, and that's just all I remember as far as our conversation really goes. Well, that conversation at least, because I was just so hurt. I was just so sad, because I really was like, damn, I really have to be stuck in this bitch for basically a fucking month. This was just how I was feeling. You know, we got to our units, our cells and everything like that. I was chopping it up with my cellmates, because at this point, me and my cellmates, we got pretty cool within just a few hours of, you know, meeting each other and knowing each other. We got pretty cool. So I was, you know, chopping it up with my cellmates. I was a little sad because I couldn't go, you know, sit with Samantha. She was, again, in her own cell by herself, because she could not get that shot since she was pregnant. So, again, she was in a cell by herself. I was in a cell with 2 other people, so I thought it was going to be horrible. Probably thought we was going to have beef with one of them, or both of them even, but it was nothing like that. Then we were cool. I do got story times in regards to both of these people coming soon. Just stay tuned. So we were all chopping it up. A few hours went by. Yada zay ya, blah zay blah, and then here's where it gets real.
It's about to go down.
And also, we're gonna get ready to end the story time. Finale.
Okay.
We were chopping it up. I was in my cell with my 2 other cellmates. We were chopping it up. I heard the chains. And my cellmates informed me, whenever you hear those chains, just know somebody's either going to court or somebody's going home. Whenever you hear those chains, remember. My bed was on the floor. We didn't have like no bed stand or anything like that. All of our beds were on the floor. Every last one of us in there, our beds were on the floor. So I ain't even gonna call them beds. They were mats. Our mats were on the floor. And then, like I said, the glasses, the windows, they were like stained, so you couldn't really see through them. But one of the windows inside the room were like peeled. Some of the stain was peeled, so you can see through it. But it only shows you the little hallway where people are coming in and coming out. You know, and that's also where the officers come in with the chains when they're getting ready to bring somebody to court, or, you know, take somebody out to the processing center to be, you know, checked out so they can go home. Like I said, we're chopping it up, we're chilling, we're laughing, we're talking. Next thing I know, we hear the chains. They're coming to get somebody. Me, I'm hoping they coming to get me. That's all I know. I'm hoping that they're coming to get me. We hear the chains coming. We all run to that little tiny unstained part of the window, and we're looking out of it, you know, trying to get the tea, trying to get it down and see, you know, see what's up, see what's going down. And then they disappear. We see that it's a male officer coming, you know, with the chains, and he, you know, walks in. About 10 minutes later, I want to say, maybe less, we hear the chains again, but this time it's, you know, going in the opposite direction. They're going back outside the door. But as they're walking by, we notice that he has somebody with him.
It's about to go down.
So us being us, we being nosy, seeing who get chance to go home today, who gonna be free today. And I see that it's Samantha.
Oh shit!
Again, my cellmates told me, when you hear those chains, it's either somebody's going to court or somebody's going home. Of course, they would know. They've been there longer than me. Shit, they've been there multiple times than me. So they know what they're talking about. As soon as I see her, it's like everything happens in slow motion. As soon as I see her, my cellmates, they look at me like, oh shit! And I feel my heart break. I don't know why I felt so like hurt. I felt betrayed. I felt all these many different mixed type of emotions.
Boy, if you don't...
All at once. When I seen her, you know, hands chained, ankles chained, walking with the officer, heading to the door that leads out and I seen her. And so I yelled, like, I yell to, you know, grab her attention. And I'm
like, hey, hey, where are you going? Where are you going?
She's like, she looks back, and I guess she sees me in that little hole, that little unstained part of the window. I guess she sees me, and she's like,
I'm going home.
You going where?
Bitch, what?
You going home? And that's it. That's all she says. She says,
I'm going home.
and then they disappear through the doors. Yes, sir. And that was it. She was gone. I didn't see her anymore after that. She was gone. She went home. She left. And I was stuck there for 3 weeks. I was stuck there. The reason I was stuck there for a little bit longer than what I thought was because the date that I was supposed to go to court, they postponed it. Yay me. There's a lot more in-depth and details about a lot of different situations and things that took place during the time that I was in jail that I will, again, be making a series about if you guys are interested in hearing about things that happened in jail after Samantha left, because that bitch did leave me. Now, thinking back on it now, I do see, like, you know, she was pregnant, we were young. I mean, and I guess her family just had the money to, you know, bail her out. So, you know, she got lucky. You know, she was able to be, you know, let go. She was able to go home. Good for you. That wasn't the case for me at all, not by a long shot. Sucks to suck. Looking back on it now, I don't think I can be mad at her because, you know, she was able to get bailed out. In that moment, though, I was entirely pissed. And then my cellmates, they were putting stuff in my ear and stuff in my head, letting me know, like, oh, yeah, that's fucked up. Because if that was my bitch and we done got, you know, busted together, whatever the case may be, if I'm getting bailed out, she getting bailed out, basically. You know, that's what they were saying. And in that moment, that's how I was feeling.
Like, damn, bitch, I'm in this shit because of you.
Like, we did this shit together. Like, I'm here because of you. Bitch, I toughed it out with you. You could have toughed it out with me.
He's only gonna be here for like 2 weeks.
That money that they put to bailing you out, they could have put towards your commentary. Our commentary. You know what I'm saying?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
But again, that would have just been me thinking selfish. The girl was pregnant, and that's just how it was. That's what ended up happening. She ended up being bailed out and was able to go home. I was not. And there were a couple of reasons why I was not. Again, I will get into them more later on in another story time. If you guys want this to become a series, a story time series of, you know, the time that I got arrested, my time in jail, all of that stuff, just comment down below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, guys, give this video a thumbs up. This is going to be the part 3 finale to the time that I got arrested involving Samantha. So thank you guys for tuning in and watching. I do appreciate it. We are going up. Thank you to any new subscribers. If you enjoyed this video, again, like the video, comment down below, share it with your friends, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your dog, your cat, that little ugly gremlin down the street. You know what I'm saying? Tell them all. They want to know. They need to know. And I'm gonna catch you guys in my next video. Again, I am sorry for posting this video a day late. Thank you. I love you. Peace. Bye, Blazers.